Family, thanks for joining another episode of Black Gay Table Talk. I'm your host, Keenan, and for today's episode, we have an exciting guest, somebody that he's been a friend in my head for many years. We've had a connection, but he's a former athlete, a coach. He is an actor, model, an all-around good spirit, and a good energy that you definitely want to have in your life at some point or in some way or another. I'm rambling, but nevertheless, DeMarco Majors, how are you?
I'm doing amazing, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your platform. And you're right, it's a long time coming, so I'm glad to be here.
I love it. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you have a lot going on, right? A lot going on. You've had a lot going on. I'll start at somewhat of the beginning and we'll work our way forward, right?
Okay.
So I first became familiar with you on the show Shirts and Skins.
Yeah.
It was, in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of other people, it was groundbreaking. It
Yeah.
was something
Yeah.
that we needed, and it was real. It
Yeah.
was real.
Yeah.
So, if you will, take us back to Shirts and Skins just for this moment and let us know how it all started.
Okay. So Shirts and Skin actually started back in 2002. So I was a collegiate basketball player, and so was my cousin. A few of us played sports and all that stuff. I went on to play professional basketball. So
Yeah.
we created a traveling. We heard about this. We heard about there were like gay basketball tournaments throughout the country. So we some of us young guys got together in the Castro, and we played together down there, and we decided to like group together because you know how it is in the community. A lot of us were orphans coming from other cities to be in the city of San Francisco and all that stuff, and we kind of grouped together and became a group, became friends. At some point in time, we've all slept at each other's house, got drunk together, hung out together, laughed together, cried together, overcame breakups and funerals and all that stuff together.
Mm.
And we would actually film each other. Alex Herrera would pull out the camera, and we'd be laughing and joking, doing silly stuff. And so we had the idea that we should create a show. Well, William Kendall on the team, we call him Uncle Bill. He went to Stanford University, and he pulled out, he started making trailers and all this other stuff, and he started using his connections and sending it to like the different platforms. So we heard no, no, no for a long time. Um, and then all of a sudden, the result that you guys got was we started to become such a force in the gay basketball world. Like we just
We
started
did.
winning like crazy.
Yeah.
And our motto as a team was we weren't putting guys on the team because they could play ball. We brought people on the team who needed a family, who
Mm.
needed that upbringing. Because as Black gay men, we lost a generation of our leaders due to the AIDS crisis.
This
So
is true.
we didn't have a lot of people. So the Black men that we did have in San Francisco, they actually were the first rock dogs. See, the rock dogs goes all the way back to 94, but the
Yeah.
team disbanded for like 8, 9 years. And then me and my cousin came around, and this guy, Tony Janzinski, came up to us and was just like, hey, there used to be a young team called the Rock Dogs, and you should reach out to this guy named Alex. So I reached out to Alex. Alex, was in his own life. All the old rock dogs were spread around. So out of respect, we went to them and said, hey, this is what we want to do. Would you like to join us? They did. So next thing you know, um, Logo said yes, finally, after several years. And
Yeah.
then they built a house for us in San Francisco.
That's what's
And
up.
I was living in New York at the time. I had moved from San Francisco to New York because I had some opportunities as far as I started doing a lot of big modeling gigs and stuff like that and acting, um, just some fun, beautiful things. And
Mhm.
flew back to film Shirts and Skins, and because we wanted to be called the Rock Dogs, but there was licensing issues. And then we
Okay.
went back, and so Yeah, but most people actually think that Logo created this basketball team to tell this story. No, we had a basketball team, recreated this show, and we went
Hmm.
to them to put it out there because here's the main thing of it all. On TV, there was not enough representation of
That's true.
the duality. And what I mean by duality, you would either see men together or you see masculine men together,
True.
but you didn't see them all together at the same time, loving each other, even playing sports together. So we showed you a wide range of masculine and feminine and in between. Like I said on the show, I'm not masculine and I'm not feminine. I'm just me in between, whatever that means, and it's okay to be that. And that's what
Yeah.
we were. That's what we wanted to give to everybody.
And you did. You did. I will admit, that's exactly what attracted me to the show. Well, me and my husband, we hadn't seen any representation like that on TV, especially when it came to sports.
Yeah,
But like you said, it's normally the stereotypes that we would see. And even now, most times we see
yeah.
on television. So, um, I will admit, I can't remember another show that we watched during that time except yours. The one, so,
I appreciate that.
yes.
We've
I'm
heard that. We've heard it so different times. When I was living in New York, I honestly didn't know the reach of the show because I was like, oh, Logo. Nobody really watches Logo, especially black folks. But we were just grateful to have done something cool because our main thing was if we do this show, fame has a way of changing people, and we can allow ourselves to be changed. So
mhm.
you had cameras in your face all the time, but people don't realize those were real conversations. Those were real arguments. Those were how we talked to each other, how we build with each other, how we loved each other, how we cared. Um, they didn't have to give us a scenario. Um, we just, that's just how we were when we wake up, when we are around each other, we see each other. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful because when I was in New York, I had a straight man jump out of a taxi cab, and I'll never forget this a day in my life. On 23rd and 8th, this man, I was walking down the street with my friends, and he jumped out of his cab. Now, my first reaction was, "What we about to do?"
Right.
And he ran because he ran up on me, and he jumped. He came up. He's like, "You're DeMarco Majors, aren't you?" And I was like, "Who asked it?" He was like, I watched you on the show, and was watching one of your confessionals, and my son showed me that, and I wasn't accepting of him being gay
Mm,
as a straight black father. And he said, you helped me understand my son more and love
wow.
him more. And I hugged him, and I said, that's what this is all about. I said,
Yeah.
your son is in a minority group of a minority group of a minority group. And
Ooh.
black fathers are few far in between. It wasn't about what our show did for you. God put you in the right place at the best time. And I said, you got to remember what's right for you when what's right for you is cautionary. And that's what you did when you talked to
Yeah.
your son. You came with caution, like, oh, it's against the Bible, it's this, and I got to do what's right for me. But what's
Right.
best for you is visionary. You had a vision for your son. God gave you a son because there was a vision for his life with a purpose that you could give him. And that was what was important. So you were put in the best place to see that, to activate that so you can give that to your son. So I
Wow.
said, and he hugged me back and we talked and he shed a little tear and he went on. So that show meant a lot to a lot of different people.
Wow. That's powerful. That is powerful. And I'm glad you said that because a lot of times we don't realize how we impact people, and sometimes you impact the ones that you least expect.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing because we were looking for the representation, but we didn't think about the parents that needed to see it, the parents
Mhm.
that needed to see that we can have productive lives.
Mhm.
So I love that. Now, but you're originally from Indiana, right?
Correct.
Okay, so what led you to, was it New York first, or did you migrate somewhere before
No,
New York?
actually, it was Indiana to the Bay Area, and
To the Bay Area.
I went there for college. Um,
Okay.
have you ever realized that you were led somewhere? You had one thought, but you kept leading to somewhere for some reason, and you don't know why. You were attracted to this place, and then all of a sudden, the pieces started making sense.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go
Mm-hmm.
to the Bay Area because I heard it was gay and all that stuff because I didn't know what that was. I was running, I was going, I just wanted to go to college where someone would actually accept me to play basketball because I never got the chance in high school, even though I believed that I had talent. I believed that there was something better for me. There had to be something better for me. I would sit in the basement of my granddad's house every single night and look in the mirror and say, God, there has to be something better for me than this trauma and this abuse that I was going through in my entire life. And I was led to something. So my talent led me to where my gift was supposed to be nurtured. And
Mm.
that led me to coming to the community to actually actualize that gift.
All right. All right. Let me ask you something though. So, how do I want to put this question? So, you've spoken about trauma that you've experienced in your life, right? Being someone that moved from traumatic experiences to now being celebrated and having a celebrity, right? Having a level of celebrity.
Yeah.
How does that impact you? Or how did it impact you? I mean, did you start your process of healing before you reached that celebrity or no?
Um, I was deep in sorrow. I was deep in trauma and didn't know it. I was deep into finding my space in life,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that there was something in me, and I knew that there was something going on, but I was just taught to keep going. You
Yeah.
know, I got conflicting messages in my life, from the caregivers that are in your life because they didn't know. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, as I was seeking information, um, I read a lot of great books, met a lot of great leaders, met a lot of great teachers, you know, started tackling some of the things going on with me. But at the same time, this meteorite of opportunity was happening at the same time, which brought on a different set of fears and trauma and eyes. You do not realize the impact of the energy when your story goes out to 29 million people.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never think that, wait a minute, my I'm from small town in Indiana. Things like that don't happen to us. But the impact of of the internet makes people go, I'm global, thousands of people, listen to my stuff or heard this. This is at a time when it wasn't big like that. And my story was on like BuzzFeed UK with anyone who had an iPhone was
Mm-hmm.
reading my story about trauma, fear, addiction, all these things. So that brought on emotion that didn't belong to me.
Mm.
And
Okay.
that's what people don't realize, that in your quest to achieve something, other people, and it doesn't mean somebody's a hater or anything like that, energy doesn't die. Energy is in this phone, in these handhelds. Energy is within your body. It seeps into your body. So you have people on your social media, you have people in your family phone numbers, you have old phone numbers, that are of people that you don't talk to no more, people you don't, excuse my language, fuck with no more, in your phone. Their emotion, their things that they're going through
Mm-hmm.
is traveling through your handheld and infecting you. So I was trying to affect the world with the gift that I have while being infected by the world with what was going on around me. And
Mm.
the enemy, hyped my talent up, but God resides in my gift. And so I was so mesmerized by the experiences and talents. And you go to this party, you're hanging out with these people, and you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And my gift was causing me not to really move forward in life. So there was a lot more trauma that was happening, and I was getting my butt kicked and still trying to go on. And so I got serious and deeper into my practices to remove myself from the trauma bonding. The One of the things that I really like to would share with you is that I had to heal my language.
Mm.
And
Expound.
what I mean by that is we learn how to say certain things in our trauma, in our fear, in our abuse.
Yeah.
And the words that we heard from other people, like our parents or our caregivers or aunts and uncles, when they were pissed off and upset with what they were going through. So we thought we knew the definitions of certain words, so we used those definitions based off how it made us feel. So we would say "I love you" to somebody. It could sound harsh. It could sound somebody who actually loves themselves. It could sound harsh. And you hear
Yeah.
people say, "Well, I love hard." No, you're hard to love. So I had to learn how to heal my language and start reading other books and getting the real definition of the words that I was using so that I could have a different experience. Because most people don't think about everything in your brain is chemical. Nothing is visual until you attach an emotion to it. So I was attaching emotion to words that I didn't know the true definition of. So I had to redo my languaging with myself, redo my
Mm-hmm.
language to my perception, my voice, the way that I would speak and speak to myself. So there was a lot of healing that had to happen.
Got it. Got it. So, how did you, when did you know that you needed to start healing? Like, was there a one thing that happened or one moment, interaction? How did you know that you needed, okay, I gotta stop. I gotta fix whatever it is that's broken or wrong?
Um, I was in New York and I was laying in bed and I was asleep. And I woke up in my dream, and my father, who had passed away in 2002, he was a paraplegic. My entire life, had never seen him walk. And so I
Mm-hmm.
woke up in the dream, and it was my grandmother's old house. My first memory at 2, 3 years old was laying on my dad, sitting on my dad's stomach, him in braces because he had just been in a car wreck, and that's what took his legs. So
Mm-hmm.
he was sitting in the bed across from me, and I woke up and I looked at him, and because I was just going through so much, and I was just like, "I've been Pete. I needed to talk to you." And he looked at me and went like this, and I just started talking to him, and just telling him all this stuff, and he just looked at me and he didn't smile. He just went, and then my dad looked at me, and he stood up. And his legs looked just like they did when we had to go casket shopping for him, and they looked atrophied and all that other stuff. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Oh my God, you can stand." See, my dream in life was never to go play basketball with my dad or anything like that. I just wanted to take a walk with my dad. I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to be like other kids. And he stood
Wow.
up. And then I went and stood next to him. And he took a step. And I said, "Oh my God, you can walk." And he looked at me and shook his head. So I started crying.
Yeah.
And I was crying so hard that I could feel the tears actually on my face while I was sleeping. And I was holding my eyes tight so much that because I didn't want to wake up. And then I felt a hand on my shoulder. And I know my dad's energy.
Yeah.
Like my dad's in the room with me right now. But if I keep my eyes closed, my dad could just stay with me. Please don't leave me right now. Don't leave me
Yeah.
again. And then I felt a hand on my leg. And I was like, my grandma's in this room with me right now. And then I felt the energy of my Aunt Charlotte and my Uncle Michael all in the room with me. And then I realized what this moment was. They were there for guidance.
Yeah,
And so that's what sparked the healing.
I love that. And I'm a firm believer that our ancestors and those loved ones, although they've transitioned, they are there when we need them.
Hmm.
So how do you, and I know that you're big on energy, and the healing powers of energy, right? So
Hmm.
you can use energy for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So you meditate, you do different things. What are your practices to make sure that you're spiritually and in tune, and that your energy is aligned?
My favorite thing to do is to wake up, go to the living room, get out of bed, leave my phone,
Yeah.
and go into the living room. I light an incense, open up the windows. I turn on meditation music, and I walk around. I sage. I light my sage, breathe into my space, walk around, sage my space. Most people are like, "Oh, that's voodoo magic." Well, sage actually burns 84% of the bacteria in the air when you sage. So you're breathing in cleaner air. And
That's
so
great.
sage myself, and then I sit down and I pray. Then I meditate on some of the key words that come to me when I pray, and I do
Hmm.
breathing and stretching at the same time. Then I'll get it back up on the couch. I have several books sitting around me, so I'll take a book, and then I'll pick certain things in the book, and I'll start reading. Then I'll read a little bit of the passages in the Bible. Then I'll read a little bit of another book, and then I'll write down notes of what I read, and then I go on with my day.
I love it. I love it. I'm getting into, so I've always felt a connection to, what we're talking about. I've always felt a connection to, the stones, the crystals, the meditation, but I've not. I think I've let what was programmed, like being
Hmm.
from Memphis or being from the South,
Yeah.
that Bible Belt. There's something. Oh, that's witchcraft. Oh, that's this. But I'm learning as I start to seek more, especially with doing this show. Like, I'm seeking those ways to keep myself centered and balanced, and make sure that the right energies are coming into the show or into my life. So my first time saging will be like this weekend at some point. Yeah, so I'm
Good.
excited about it. I'm excited about it.
Do you mind if I share something with you?
Sure.
Do you know your Do you know your family background?
It's interesting you say that. I do. Some. On my dad's side, unfortunately, there's very little information about my grandfather. He apparently, the way the story goes is that he was biracial. And my dad, they're from the generation where they grew up like picking cotton. My dad,
Mhm.
like, he still remembers picking cotton with my grandma. But we don't have much information on him because records weren't kept. And through Jim Crow era, and then them coming off the tail end of slavery and all that, we don't have much. But I do know that on my mom's side, there is a lot of uh, spiritual and spell casting and stuff like that. Yeah.
So the reason why I asked, because one of the most important things is knowing your African ancestry. When
Hmm.
you know your African ancestry, then you can go to the tribes. When you look up the tribes, you'll see what their spiritual practices were. The reason why you're being called to those things. Like when I found out that my family is is Nigerian, Ghanaian, Egyptian, Sierra Leone. Um, I actually ended up meeting this woman who was from Ghana, and she lives in Australia, in Sydney, Australia, and we started
Hmm.
talking over Facebook, and we're actually cousins. We found each other, we're cousins.
Really?
So she told me about in Ghana, of the part of our family in Ghana, and the UA tribe that we're actually from. And she would send me videos of the wedding ceremonies, the spiritual ceremonies, all these different things. And you see the colors and you see your people, and it
Yeah.
just makes you cry. Like it just was blew my mind. So I didn't get into it because of that. I was led to that because I was open to it. So that might be a
Hmm.
great way for you to go, like AfricanAncestry.com. That is
Yeah.
can answer some of your questions.
I think I will. I think I will. Um, okay, so you believe in the energy of stones too?
Absolutely.
Which one are you wearing right now if you don't? Yep, I
Tiger's
saw
Eye.
it. Tiger's Eye.
Yep.
I love it. I love it.
I normally would have my, my bracelets on and stuff like that, but I keep my Tiger's Eye on me all day long, all the time. I could care less what anybody else has to say. It makes me feel good, and
Yeah.
that's the most important thing to me. Um, it's really weird, because we grew up in places where people would say, don't be too full of yourself. Then who the fuck should I be full of if not myself?
Right. Right.
Like, how arrogant of me to deny the greatness and the gift that God put in me by you telling me be humble, be docile. That's
Hmm.
what you're telling me. You're saying, oh, be humble. No, you're telling me to be docile, but God put this greatness and this gift and amplified it in me. And how arrogant of me to deny that part of God in me by not amplifying it, by not sharing it, by not gifting it. No,
Yeah.
I don't believe in all that.
I love it. All right. All right. So, you've talked a lot about mental health, and
Yeah.
um, uh, your journey, and you've helped a lot of people, right? So, seeing the attacks that are coming from the current administration, on whether it be trans rights, mental health. I mean, the LGBTQ plus community as a whole. What are some thoughts and emotions that you've experienced just seeing what's happening?
Control.
Mm,
Control. What's happening here is not about stripping our rights away. It's
mhm,
about letting us know who's in control, who has the power, because they feel out of control. They feel like they're losing power. So they need to break us down again, just like slave owners created two different Bibles and gave the slaves a slave Bible and beat men and rape women in front of them and rape men in front of the women to break them down. So this is another form of programming to get control because we have woken up. And
yes.
the missing piece that we actually have right now, we woke up, but we're missing the united front. See, the united front is being 12.6% of the population to 13% of the population, and we're spending $1 trillion a year on miscellaneous things and not putting that into our own. Okay, everybody says, well, build a business, be a black owner and all that stuff. But if you don't have any control over your own life, how can you do that? We have a lot of us who live in impoverished areas who spend money outside of our means just to live and participate in life. So why are we, yes, things are systematic, but we can't keep blaming the system when we should be creating our own system. We had Black Wall Street, they burnt it down. We had this other thing, Tulsa, they burnt it down. We have certain things in Philadelphia, they burnt it down. Every
Hmm.
time we've built something, they burnt it down. Then we stopped building. We
Hmm.
stopped. We stopped building. Now we started building again. So now they're trying to take certain rights away to break us down. What are we supposed to do? Build.
Hmm. All
So we
right.
start with the mind. We start with we reprogram ourselves. We go back and we get our farms back and we grow our own food. We know that they were putting toxins into our food. We walk around and want to dance and eat hot Cheetos. We're so programmed,
Yes.
and I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying, let's
I
look
get it.
at the bigger picture of what's going on around us. Yes, they're stripping rights, and that's fucked up. Excuse my language. That's terrible.
Yeah.
However, we've always built, but we have to unite again on what we need to build, how we need to go about it, and focus on that. Focus on the family unit. They destroyed us by destroying the black family unit. And now we have to restructure that. So I feel personally that there's a bigger picture going on right now. And they're going to do what they're going to do because they have the power to do it. But we
Yeah.
have power too. We have power because why do they put Asian people and Indian people and other people in our neighborhoods to where they have stores, they have restaurants, they have gas stations because we will spend money in they places and then they go back to the white neighborhood and spend their money over there where their taxes go while no taxes are being spent in our neighborhoods. We are
Mm-hmm.
allowing that, so we have to rebuild, we have to restructure, we have to unite, and we have to stay focused.
Mm. Well said. Well said. I 100% agree with you. So then in your opinion, what do we do as far as the resources that are being stripped away or trying to be taken? How do we maintain that access to these resources that are needed? Because some are needed, right? What, in your
True.
opinion, should we focus on or do?
How did we get the resources in the beginning? Because remember, we didn't have laws that we had now when we started these programs.
True. True.
So we have to go back to, so you don't go from 1 to 10 and then something happens and you go back to one. It's not possible because you learned all the lessons. You go from 11 to 20. So we still have the same goal and we
Mm-hmm.
accomplished the goal, but we didn't master the goal. Now it's time for us to master the goal. So we go look at our plan. Because don't change the goal, because a lot of people change the goal because they didn't see the fruits from the goal. You don't change the goal, you change the plan. We have to restructure our plan, just like the grassroots when we first started, because again, we didn't have laws for us back then.
Mm-hmm.
We put it in their face. We mobilized. We united. We signed petitions. We went to Congress. We went to the House of Representatives. We got into the White House. We did all of that, and they had to respect us because we had money behind us because we mobilized together. So we have to restructure the plan and then execute and keep
Gotcha.
doing it.
Interesting. And I was literally having a conversation with someone the other day, and they asked the question, well, why keep doing it if they just gonna burn it down? Why keep doing it? And at that moment, honestly, I did not have an answer. But it's been weighing on me. So I feel like something else is working right now with you saying what you said a moment ago, because I truly did not have an answer.
I mean, and I trust me, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, I have all the answers. What I will share is that you have to look at the resilience of our people, who we are.
Yes.
We've always found a way. We've always found a way. We've never let it just stop us. There may have been a decade where there wasn't movement, but there was always some group, always some young leader being born, being created, finding ways to formulate in his mind and then step up and stand up. Out of adversity, leadership comes. But here's the
True.
thing: when the student is ready, the teacher shows up, not the teacher shows up and gains students.
Mm-hmm.
Right now is our opportunity to look at the resilience of us. We didn't just come from slavery. We came from amazing tribes. We came from amazing leaders. We came from
Mm-hmm.
warriors. We came from people who knew the land, who cultivated the land, knew what fruits to eat, knew what plants to brush your teeth with. They also knew how to do the brain, how to do brain surgery. That stuff came from our people.
True.
We just want to start. We want to start at the dock of the bay with the slave ship. No, we got to go back
It
to the
goes
beginning.
much
We got to
further.
go back to the beginning and see the resilience of who we are that runs through our veins, and rely on that information. So that's what I feel.
All right. Listen, I normally say I almost ran out this room. I love that. And that's so true. It goes back much further than just the slave ships. Um, I love that. Thank you for that. So I'll admit, people now tend to be distracted.
Mhm.
In your opinion, how do we get them back to help them connect to that resilience that we have? How do we, in your opinion, especially within the Black LGBTQIA community, how do we remove those distractions of the labels of who's sleeping with who, who's spilling it, what tea? Like, how do we remove all that?
So, which is a very important question. Um, One, put a timer on your phone for your screen time.
Mm, okay.
Choose 5 people every week. Choose 5 people to actually call and talk to. Bring back relationships. You know,
Yeah.
every every black and brown gay person, LGBTQI, all need to choose our elders in our communities and sit down and have conversations with them. When you see the older man or the older woman or the older trans experienced person at the bar, go and introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Go talk
Mm-hmm.
to them. They're not at the bar by themselves because they're alone. At the bar by themselves because they survived some shit. You have no idea what they went through, and they need to have a drink and feel that youthful energy around them.
Come
They
on
have a
now.
story to tell, and we are sitting on our phones and not recognizing there's information over there. See, again, we got to go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
What did we do in tribes? We created a fire, we sat around the fire and listened to the elders tell stories. And those stories were passed down from generation to generation to generation.
Yeah.
So we have to go back to our tribalism and go back to our elders. When you see the people, go up to them and ask them their name. Watch that smile, talk to them, get to know them, get their information, reach out to them once. Stop throwing away our elders when they hit 40 and 50 and 60 and stuff like that. You know, get off the
Yeah.
get put a timer on your put a timer on your dating apps. You know, put a timer on your Facebook. Allow yourself to actually go outside and put your feet in the grass and get some grounding. And again,
Mhm.
do I have all the answers? I absolutely do not. But if you start these little things, you'll start participating with yourself differently. And
Mhm.
then you'll start participating with others differently. And then you'll go to your local LGBT center or you'll go onto these groups on your, you know, where you, these little groups that you can go on that have, um, what is it? They have like little Zoom meetings and stuff like that in different states. Because if you don't have an LGBT center, you can look up an LGBT center in another state. They have groups. They jump on Zoom with people you can talk to and engage with. There's ways you can get your nourishment. Trust me,
Mm.
if you can find sex, you can find other types of nourishment.
Come
So
on now. Y'all heard
that's
him,
what we
right?
need.
Like, oh my gosh. I almost cried just now. Like, and I'm one of those types. I don't know if I had people say I have an old spirit or you got an old soul.
Yeah,
I love talking to the elders because like you said, they have that knowledge and they help you see beyond the moment. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Beyond the hype, beyond all that stuff because they have been through so much. And it's a beautiful thing. And I do feel like they're forgotten about. And I'm aging and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
so that's something I do have on my radar. I would like to find an avenue to create more of that gap bridging, like, so that we can have that knowledge going, have the a lot of times when that knowledge is passed around, how we interact with each other, like you said, it alters it. It alters it. We have a greater sense of value in who we are, what we do, what we're capable of. And yeah, so I think actually that might be one of the ways we started, removing the distractions. So, okay, yes, message. I got it.
The distraction isn't the distraction isn't there to cause just what it is, distraction. It's about territory. See, the
Mm,
enemy really doesn't want you, the enemy wants your territory. So you can either affect people in life or you can infect people in life. So if you infect people, the enemy doesn't have any use for you because that's a small territory.
yeah.
So when you start affecting people, your territory grows. That's when the enemy's like, okay, there's something wrong there. So he has to try to get into your world to start affecting and infecting the people around you because your territory is too big. Once your territory shrinks, you're more vulnerable. So why you think that this administration is attacking, our community, because it's gained power, it's grown, we have a big
Yeah.
territory, so they have to try to control that. We have to see within ourselves that we have all these different friends. If we're going to continue watching fight videos and reality shows where there's fighting and yelling at each other and all that
Mm,
stuff, and then
mm-hmm.
then the music, the way it's played with the mantras, and it's infecting us and causing people to go out and do certain things. There's a new dance on TikTok and all this other stuff, but we're not truly nourishing our spirit. We're not
Right.
nourishing each other and having beautiful conversations that actually lead us to doing something more for everybody else in the community. So the enemy will people forget the enemy is here to steal, kill, and
And
destroy.
destroy.
Most people only focus on the killing and the destroying. They don't focus on your territory being stolen from you.
Mm.
That's your
Ooh, on
relationships
that.
and your friendships and the people. So we have to focus on taking our territory back.
Yes. All right. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Like, I knew this was going to be powerful, but I did not realize how, yes, the magnitude at which this was going to move me. I will be honest. So I'm on the brink, but I'm gonna hold it together. Um, so what all are you working on now? I know that, well, no, what are you working on now?
Mm, my life is simple right now, and I love it.
Okay.
Um, I got my second promotion in 3 months. So I got pulled over into Nike. So Nike created, with other like professional athletes, training studios. So they're
Yeah.
putting up new training studios all around the country, and they have it's Nike training studios. So now they have the power behind it. So um, you know, I've been blessed, and I'm very grateful to have been pulled in to manage a Nike training studio where I um, get to change the culture, the environment of the studio. So
Yeah.
I'm doing my coaching, strategic coaching, executive coaching, helping people heal from trauma, and also couples and relationships. Nutrition and wellness comes with that. Coaching comes with that. I have master certification, master practitioner certifications, and all that stuff. I have a triple master in coaching and life coaching and strategic coaching and helping people heal from trauma and all that stuff. So that's basically all I'm really working on. I
Yeah.
do get pulled into shows and stuff like that. So little acting things on the side, but that's not my focus right now. My focus is, healing people, helping people heal old wounds with new tools.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. So do you feel like you have more of a fulfillment now in life and that this is your real calling and that those gifts led you to this place? Or do you feel that um that you were able to, well, let me just ask you that. Yeah. Do you feel that this is a result of your gift, like your gift led you to this moment in this place? Gifts.
Um, I believe that practice doesn't make perfect.
Hmm.
Practice lessens the amount of mistakes you're going to make when it's game time. And I was willing in my life to make enough mistakes and be corrected on those mistakes so that I will be ready when when I'm called. And I'm called. And so
Right.
I'm just sitting in a place of alignment because people forget, yes, there are blessings, but you have to be in alignment to receive the blessings. So I've been in a state of constant alignment, and that's why I'm allowed to be where I am right now.
Come on now. Okay. Um, okay. Right now, so you have the life coaching, the health and wellness, those things that you're working on. Um, is there a 5-year goal? Like in 5 years, what do you plan on having been achieved?
Well, it's not a 5-year plan, it's a 3-year plan.
Okay.
Um, so the goal last year was to work at the studio that I was working for in LA. And the goal was um, to help as many people as possible through health and wellness, to change
Mm-hmm.
their perception and perspective. And that will get the, then my ideas will catch on to the corporate team, and the corporate team will want to put me in a position to where I could help more people. So um, the next goal from there, because now they gave me my own studio. So the next goal from there is to be regional sales manager, where I get sent out to all the different locations and teach teams how to build a team, how to hire the right way, how to know how to budget revenue, do sales presentations, all that stuff, and how to help their community. That's my 8 to 9 month. Then a year from there, I want to be global director of sales and be sent out around the world, because within the next 2 years they're going to be putting up 200 studios around the world. So I want to be able to go be sent out around the world to be able
Mm-hmm.
to teach your goals, revenues, sales processes, all that stuff. At the same time, within that time, I want to gain 26 paying clients per week in my coaching practice,
Mm-hmm.
doing 3 to 4 speaking engagements per month, starting at 15K or more, and the revenue go from that within 3 years would be 300,000. That's my 3-year goal.
All right. Now, would this at some point be under your brand? Under your
The coaching and the speaking engagements would be under MajorWay Strategic Life Coaching.
There we go. Okay. I wanted that mention. Yes, because I see it expanding. I see it growing. I see the newsletters. I see the conferences. I see the summits. I see all of that under the brand, and I see it even products. So I see it all. So I'm
It's
sending.
wild that you say that, because um, in this neighborhood, uh, two black people came up to me today, and they weren't going to take class, but they came up to me today. They signed up for our challenge, and so I took them outside, and black man and black woman. Black man is 65, girlfriend is 45.
Hmm. Hmm.
And she's very meek and soft and teacher and all this other stuff. And he comes from janitorial, and he was, also just a all around good person. So, and talking to them and telling them just what's going on with their mind, what's going on with their emotion, what's going on
Hmm.
with them spiritually, what's going on with you physically. This is why you're not getting results, because this is what's going on with you here. So let's do this, and that, third. They both
Hmm.
looked at me and they said, "We are so happy that you are here, and you have a lot of members who need this.
Hmm.
And the people who are open to it will spend a lot of money on you to get the information that you have." I really see that right now. I didn't think that I was
Hmm.
going to come in and have this type of conversation. And he just looked at me, and she looked at me. She's like, "People are going to pay you a lot of money for what you do. We are so happy that you're here." And I've
Hmm.
been hearing that a lot within the last literally 24 hours.
Hmm. Hmm.
So again, alignment.
They they trust you. We trust you. And I think it's because you've been so open about your journey and that we've seen you take those lessons, and learn those lessons along your journey. So I think there's a certain level of trust that allows us to say, okay, we can do this, we can support. So I know I would be behind it. I definitely would be behind it.
Thank
I
you.
would promote it the whole nine. So I can't wait to see it. I'll say that because I know it's all going to happen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So anything that you want to let people know about you, or anything that people assume that they know and you want to correct?
Mm, no, because guess what? Um, Everyone has their own experiences and their
Hmm.
own definitions to the words that they use, and they derive a sense of what they think rather than what they believe. And that's not my responsibility to change that. My responsibility is to guide me and my family. So, whatever people think of me, they can. By all
Hmm.
means, you can think and feel whatever you want to. However, you can also experience me.
Come
And in
on
that
now.
experience, you may find something different. You may find something for you. Guess what? I'm also not for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, there is a level of love that I have within myself that allows me to have boundaries, not walls, but boundaries. And I have healthy boundaries. So I'm
Hmm.
not for everybody. And everybody's not for me. However, when the time presents itself and we are to meet and have conversation or break bread, then I'm always up for it. But um, people will be people, and they'll think what they want to
Yeah.
think, and they may think, oh, he thinks he knows it all. I don't. Oh, he thinks he's better than people. I don't. I just think I'm better today than I was yesterday. That's all.
That's it. I love it. Okay. All right. I don't know what to say. I'm just happy this happened. Like,
I would say this: people do tend to um, try to figure out what my dating is. And I've heard stories about, oh, I've hung out with this person, I talked to this person on the phone, I did that. I keep to myself.
I
Now,
was
I'm
so
not
gonna ask
saying
you.
I'm not saying that I've never had a whole phase. I'm not saying
Uh-huh,
that. I've
uh-huh,
been there. But in these days,
uh-huh.
I keep to myself. I have been dating me and getting to know me more and attracting someone on the level of resilience and joy and love. I do not want to be someone's number one priority. You
Mm,
should be your number one priority. I don't want somebody who falls in love with me because then they'll be susceptible to do anything and be, you know, I can steamroll because I'm always going, I'm always thinking, I'm always moving. I will steamroll over you if you don't have your own sense of self. So I don't want to be around somebody who's like, oh, well, he's alpha, he's this, and I have to make all the decision. I have to do everything. I don't want somebody like that. I want some to
mm.
be with someone who wants to be my friend, then become my best friend, and then we date, and then we become boyfriends, then we become partners. If you don't have a strategy to what you want, guess what? I'm cool. I'm cool. I don't need to entertain it. I'm
But
not
what
on
if
I'm not on the apps. I'm not on any of that. I'm good.
but what if it's someone who doesn't have a clear path or clear vision yet, but they're looking for a certain guidance that you, being that partner, can give? Like, are you willing to help that person grow as they, figure it out? Still with the intentions of nurturing the relationship, but if they don't have it all together, would that be an option for you?
So here's the thing. Um, People don't realize that sometimes when you are a coach and you counselor and stuff like that, people can come to you as teacher student. You're looking for the relationship. They're
Mm,
looking for. They say they want a relationship, but it's really teacher student. So
got it.
once they get what they desire and they become more, they just want to start moving on to different things in life. I'm at
I
an
got
age
you.
in my life right now where I've done my shadow work and I'm
Hmm.
doing my shadow work and I've healed
Hmm.
in some places and there's other places that I also need to heal. So I come as my package. You come as your package. If that package, because we're going to mirror one another, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a direct person. So if that hits your sensitivities, because you're not in that healed space, you're going to resent me for loving you past your faults, but you're only going to see your faults. So it might not work for me or work for you in that way. So would I say I'm open to it? Open, yes. Caution more.
Got it. All right, sir. Listen now. Damn it. Like, I love that. Okay. All right. Are there any more fitness videos in the works for you?
Yes. Um, I can't share now because I'm under licensing with
Right.
the
Okay, I
studio,
got you.
but
Okay.
there's a lot to come. A lot to
Got
come.
it.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've had enough of your time today. Um, I definitely hope you come back on the show with us to celebrate each victory. We're going to be there rooting you on and showing up to support however we can. Um, you're an amazing person, and
Thank you.
I'm I'm happy that you've had the not only the resilience that you've had with your journey, but I'm happy that you've seen the importance of impacting others, and it just speaks to your character, honestly, because you could be selfish and hold it all to yourself and say, well, I'm good, I'm healed, or I'm here, they can figure it out themselves, but you're sharing, and it it's clear that you're authentically happy to see others grow, shine, succeed, and what have you. So I'm happy about that.
Thank
And I'm
you.
thankful.
As I take that in, I truly appreciate it. And I just believe that everything that God's given me when I die, I don't want to have an ounce of talent or gift left. I gave it
Mm,
all. I
got
truly believe that when I'm taking my last breath, that I will see my guardian angel. And my guardian angel, I could just see him, I can see the breastplate dented in, the
mm,
wings tethered and burned, the soot on the face, kneeling before God, and God's telling that angel, "Good job. I put this
mm,
kid through the ringer, and you did everything you could to protect him, and we get to meet, and we get to
yeah.
hug, and we get to go before God." That's the way I see it.
Wow. Okay. I love that. I love that. You're amazing. You are. You truly are. All right. So, let everybody know where they can follow you, if you don't mind.
Okay. You can always find me on social media on Instagram. It's always my name, D Majors or DeMarco Majors. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Somehow my niece got me into. I don't do much on TikTok, but I'm on TikTok. I don't do the dances and all that stuff. I repost little things here and there, but you can find me there. If you ever feel there's something more to you in your life. There's something more that you want to learn. There's something more you want to grow in. You want to heal from something. You want to grow from something. Message me. I'm here for us, and you know, it's not about. Now, I do believe in you make an investment into things. You pay for coaching. You pay for those things. Am I going to price gouge anybody? Absolutely not. But I will say, if you are watching this today, you have been led to participate in your life in such an amazing way that you need to take this gift. Don't wait till tomorrow, because life happens. Reach out to me. I'm happy to hear you out. We'll do a consultation. We'll go over things. We'll create a plan for you. We will help you grow in your life. I will
Hmm.
take you from where you are to where God wants you to go. So don't hesitate. Reach out.
I love it. All right, family. Mr. DeMarco Majors. If you're not following them already, please make sure you follow. Let's show up and show out. We know the impacts when we show up for our community. And again, DeMarco, thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm always watching you in a distance. Um, but
Yeah.
you guys let me know. I'm always here to support. Happy to support you.